Welcome to No Place Like Home, the radio show, coming to you on WRXB 1590 AM and Pinellas County Connection TV. This program is presented to you as an opportunity to hear information that can help you fulfill the dream of owning your very own home. We also share information about upcoming special events and programs to help you enjoy the good life in Pinellas County, as well as other items of interest. The sponsor of this program is the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County, which offers the first-time homebuyer program. I'm Carmen Lemberg, alongside Jane Merlin, your host for today's show. How are you today, Jane?
I'm doing well, and I hope you are too.
I am, thanks.
Well, we've got a very, very interesting program coming up today.
We do.
One topic is going to help us, I think, be a better consumer.
Yes.
And the other one is going to help us maybe enjoy the holiday season a little bit more sustainable.
Yes.
Sustainably, I should say. And also maybe a little bit friendlier to the wallet.
There we go. That's what we all want to hear this time of year.
Exactly right. And before we introduce our guests, though, I know you've got an update from our sponsor.
I do. Thank you. The Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County is offering the First-Time Homebuyers Program, your key to home ownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make the dreams of home ownership a reality. The First-Time Homebuyers Program is for individuals who have never owned a home, have not owned a home in the last 3 years, or veterans. The HFA offers a low rate on its 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, and if you need a little help with down payment and closing costs, we can help you with that too. To get your key to home ownership, you can visit www.pinellascounty.org/HFA as in Housing Finance Authority. For more information or comments about the show, you can call us at 727-223-6419 or email newhome@pinellashfa.com. We hope that you enjoy a safe and happy holiday season. Jane?
Thank you, Carmen. And I'm sure that you have been able to help a lot of people get into a new home this holiday season.
Our Home for the Holidays campaign has been going very, very well. We're getting into wrapping it up for the year, but I am very pleased to see how well we've done and how many people we've been able to help get into a home just in time for the holidays.
That's awesome. Well, before we introduce our guest today, I wanted to let everybody know that the enrollment into the Affordable Care Act is now open. And if you have questions or need help figuring out how to access the online enrollment, help is available through Pinellas County's navigators. They can set up a time to meet with you, or you can find them at locations throughout the county. You can call 727-464-8411 or visit www.pinellascounty.org/navigators for more information. And that program is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Carmen. And, it's a little confusing for many people, myself included, to look at some of these systems that are in place and try to figure out how to access it and what information you might need in order to gain access into that program. So the navigators are really helping.
Oh, I can see where they're just a must with all the changes that have happened. I am so glad that somebody is out there that can help people look at this.
Absolutely. Well, today's guests are joining us to discuss how to protect ourselves as consumers and ways to enjoy the holidays in a more sustainable way. Marie Millett is a consumer fraud investigator with Pinellas County Consumer Protection. She joined the department in 2002. She previously worked in the department's criminal section, investigating cases involving unlicensed contracting, theft, and home solicitation. She's a certified mediator through the Supreme Court of Florida. Currently, she's with the department's dispute resolution section, where she assists parties in resolving civil complaints through mediation. Marie is also the department's outreach coordinator and provides consumer education to Pinellas County residents through presentations, community events, and distribution of key information. Ramona Madhosingh-Hector is a regional specialized agent at the Urban Sustainability Center located at the University of Florida's Extension office in Pinellas. She develops educational programs that support and advance the county's commitment to sustainability. She currently manages a community energy program as well as a sustainability series for citizens. Ramona has graduate degrees in urban and regional planning from Florida State University and environmental science from Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University. Welcome to No Place Like Home, Anna Marie and Ramona.
Thank you.
You know, I have to say, Ramona, you were here not too long ago. I think it was for the September show, and we were talking about energy awareness. And I have to tell you that every time I walk by the coffee maker, I'm looking at it to make sure it's unplugged.
Good job.
So your message really resonated with me. So
I'm
thanks
doing
for
the
that.
same thing, so yes.
Nice to have you both back. You've been here before and always provided us with such wonderful, helpful information. So we're looking forward to the discussion today. So, Anna Marie, let's start with you and have you describe what consumer protection does for Pinellas County residents and how your role fits with that.
Thank you. Pinellas County Consumer Protection investigates consumer business disputes. So if a consumer has an unresolved problem with a company or someone they've done business with, such as a contractor over the internet, they can file a complaint with our department. Most complaints are going to be civil in nature, so our investigators will work with the parties through mediation. That could be telephone conferences, in office conference, or sometimes we'll even go out to the home. We also work with the state attorney's office. If the complaint is deemed a violation of a consumer protection law, then the state attorney's office will prosecute the complaints for us. We oversee, monitor, and license certain county ordinances. And as you mentioned earlier, with our outreach program, our complaints are reactive. So if we're proactive, we arm consumers with the information they need. It'll reduce their chances of falling victim to a scam or entering into a bad transaction.
Well, and you know, it's interesting that these criminals are very, very smart and able to really take advantage of people. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've encountered.
Well, as I tell consumers, they have to realize that times have changed. You no longer shake somebody's hand to make a deal. Their word isn't golden any longer. So you do need to be aware of your surroundings and who you're dealing with. It is the con artist's full-time job, so they perfect their skills. They give it to make it seem legitimate to lure you in and gain your trust. Oftentimes, they may call you or text you, send you a mail solicitation, you've won something, or that you owe a debt. With the internet, it's prevalent with scams nowadays, and sometimes they're even bold enough to do it in person, knock on your door, pretend to be a service provider or a salesperson. So it doesn't matter who you're encountering, you need to question before you give any personal or financial information.
And we were talking before we started the show about Facebook now is a place where people are also being targeted. So there's no place left where these folks can't get into your lives somehow.
Well, con artists are looking for that opportunity, and we as consumers is what we give them, and that's how they're able to take advantage of us. So again, you mentioned social media, the Facebook, Twitter, be careful what information you're putting out there. You don't have 5,000, 6,000 friends. Somebody out there may be looking at your information to take advantage of it.
Well, I mean, you've mentioned some very good ideas to protect ourselves as consumers. If you had to come up with a list of, say, the top 5, what would you say?
Well, I mean, to protect ourselves, the most important thing is to protect your information. Before you give out any personal or financial information, know who you're dealing with, why you're giving it to them, and what purpose it's going to be used for. I always tell people, just because someone asks for the information doesn't mean you have to provide it.
Good point.
It's the same as cash or personal information. To a scammer or con artist, it is cash. So before you give it to them, question why they're asking for it and why they need it. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Monitor your information. Check your bank accounts, your credit card statements. By law, you're entitled to a free credit report. Get in the habit of requesting that every year and reviewing that. If there's any information that's inaccurate, report it to those agencies so that they can take action immediately. And before you throw out any information, be sure you shred it.
You know, and that is something I do all the time. All the junk mail I get about pre-approved credit cards and everything, shred. Not one piece of that information goes in the trash for somebody to say, oh, look, now I can just sign her name and maybe I can get a credit card in her name. So it's very important to shred that stuff before it goes out.
And with pre-approved credit card applications through the Federal Trade Commission, FTC.gov, you can go on there. They have a wealth of information to help consumers, including how to opt out of receiving those pre-approved credit card applications. A concern is if they fall into the wrong hands, like you said, somebody could sign up for it and get a credit card in your name. If your mail is sitting in your mailbox out by your curb for a long period of time, it's very easy, again, that opportunity to just go by, get your bills, your credit card statements, and those pre-approved credit card applications or whatever else may be in your mailbox.
Wow. Now, somebody thinks they've been a victim. What should they do?
Well, you definitely want to notify whatever agency has that information. So say it's your credit card that's been compromised, notify your credit card company, your bank, or your Social Security Administration. Whatever's been compromised, notify them immediately so that they can put fraud alerts on your account. Continue to monitor your information and report anything. It definitely, if you are a victim of identity theft, it is a crime, so you want to get a police report. And as I mentioned, through the Federal Trade Commission, they have an identity theft affidavit. It's about 6 pages. It's your whole entire life. It's notarized. But between that and the police report, that should be all the information you need to assist. But at any time, if a consumer has a question, they're concerned, I often get, especially senior citizens, get a mail solicitation. You may have one or this or that. Give us a call at Consumer Protection. We're more than happy to help you and discuss whatever's going on. We've probably seen it. We probably know about it, and we can, put your mind at ease of whether you should contact that company or not.
Do you have some of this information on your website where people could go and see, how to contact the Social Security Administration if they think their Social Security number got compromised?
We do. We have a wonderful resource list on our website. You can go to www.pinellascounty, spelled out one word, .org, /consumer.
Okay.
And go right on our website. As I said, we have a resource list. A lot of neighborhoods now are putting them in their welcome packets. So when they have a new neighbor move in, they give them the resource list so they have those agencies to contact. But like I said, if you're not sure, sometimes transactions or checking out a business can be challenging, especially if it's the first time. Give us a call and we can guide you of what you should look for and what you need to know.
Perfect.
And you all had a shred-a-thon recently. How did that go?
Oh, it was fabulous. We had a lot of fun. We had over 300 cars come through.
Wow.
Each car could do up to 6 boxes. Some of them did more. But you could just see that it was much needed. They've had these documents for a long time. And I would ask cars, as they'd come through, how do you feel? And they'd say, oh, fabulous. I just, they're so happy to get rid of the information and to do it safely. So it's wonderful.
A relief, I'm sure. And hopefully you will be doing that again in the future?
Oh, we're planning to. Yes, we're hoping to make it an annual event.
Oh,
great.
Good. I'm glad. I need that.
You missed this one, huh?
I did, and I have too much to do in my little shredder. I need something bigger.
Yeah, and that was held at Utilities. We partnered with them, and it was just a wonderful event.
Very good. Now, we're in the holiday season, and there are a lot of people who are feeling very generous and would certainly like to do what they can to help others who may be less fortunate. And that may involve providing a donation to an organization. But with that also comes the scammers who are taking advantage of the goodwill of people. So for those who might be interested in providing a contribution to an organization, how do you determine that organization is really legitimate and that they're going to do with those dollars what they say they're going to?
Yeah, that's a good question. 2 things to keep in mind is with the holiday season come scams, and fake charities is one of those. And then also you have to limit the number of charities you give to. You donate to one, 20 others will contact you. So I always say pick a few that are near and dear to your heart that you can afford to give to. In Florida, charities must be registered with the state of Florida through Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. So you can go online or you can call them and you can check to see if the charity is registered. And keep in mind, a lot of them have similar names. Even fake charities will use legitimate sounding names. So make sure you have the correct name, maybe an address so that you can research it properly. You can also see their financial statements so you can see how much of your money is actually going to the cause. Some of them pay employees to solicit donations and so forth, and there's administrative costs. So some of your money may go to that. So this way you can see that 1, they are registered, they're legitimate, and 2, how much of your actual donation is going to help that cause. So that's my suggestion is ahead of time, pick those charities, research them, and then you can donate to them. You can switch them every year. If there's so many you want to donate to, you can always change them, but definitely check them out and make sure that they are legitimate charities.
Great advice. And is there kind of a top consumer issue that we should all be aware of that's happening currently?
Well, I mentioned identity theft earlier. Unfortunately, Florida for the last few years has been number one state for identity theft. But what I'm hearing a lot of is imposter scams. Someone's calling you or even coming to your door and they're pretending to be somebody they're not. They may call you and say that you owe a debt or they're the IRS and you owe money and you better pay it immediately. There's some kind of threat or urgency. They may even have some legitimate information. I've heard them going to law enforcement websites, seeing who the chief of police is, and then calling you and saying, this is so-and-so, and you're thinking, well, this must be legitimate. They had the name. So don't be fooled by that. They may come to your door pretending that they're a salesperson or some other aspect. So definitely question it. I always say let your voicemail get the calls. If it's important, they'll leave a message. And same with your door. We teach our kids, don't open the door to strangers. We need to heed the same advice.
Very good advice.
I put a camera on my front door, and so now when somebody knocks, I can see who it is. If I don't know them, I don't go to the door.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a different time nowadays, and you have to be cautious of everything, especially now with the holidays. You have to, when you're shopping and the hustle and bustle in the malls and the crowds, make sure that you know where your credit card, your debit card is, that you're putting it away securely, and just watching your surroundings.
Yeah, good advice. Very, very good advice. Ramona, we want to discuss some ways to have an enjoyable holiday season that are kind to the environment and easy on the wallet. And really, these ideas will be helpful throughout the year, not just during the holidays. But before we get to the holiday spirit, tell us a bit about Pinellas County Extension and what your role is there.
Okay, thank you. Well, Extension has been around for 100 years. We've been providing science-based information and education, and we're very fortunate to have offices in all 67 counties in the state. So I think that's a great thing for us. So our programming, which people are most familiar with, is that we work in lawn and garden, natural resources. We do marine environments, money management, and food and nutrition. So as a sustainability agent, I do work in resource conservation issues, helping people rethink how their behaviors impact the environment and how they can make minor modifications to enable us all to have a good quality of life and still think about the environment.
That's just, you really have a full plate.
I do. Thank you. I do.
One of the most stressful things for us during the holiday season is just finding that perfect gift for somebody. And can you share some unique gift ideas for those who might participate in gift exchanges, like, at an office or at a club or something?
Right. So one of the things we want to determine first is where the gift exchange is, because we want to make sure we have an appropriate gift exchange for the office, for our family and friends. And then I think also the price limit, which we were just talking about, consumer protection. And some of the ideas would be, for people who have almost everything, would be donating to a cause or a charity. And just as we just heard, making sure that that charity is a legitimate charity and that the money is being spent in a way that you would want the money to be spent. I think as well, considering memberships for folks, who might be, whether it's a CSA, a community garden, maybe they want a fitness membership, do something that they may not consider doing for themselves, but have been wanting to. And that'd be a great way to have them remember you throughout the year, if you would. We've been hearing a lot about service ideas, do something for somebody, give them a coupon book that they can use throughout the year. And it could also be not just service, but also skills. Maybe you can sew and that person would like to. Maybe they would like to learn to play the piano. Just a variety of different ways you can exchange services and skills that would still be a giftable idea. That doesn't cost you a lot of money.
Very good ideas. What about, handmade items and stuff? Those still good ideas and stuff?
Those are still good ideas. I think a lot of people still appreciate when you take the time to not just go buy something, but to make something or to couple it with something that may have already been bought. And with the focus on local foods and local food systems, jams and jellies, recipes that you can share. If you're going over to somebody's party, you might take a cookie recipe that you've had for years and you can share that with them and leave the container. It could be a pretty decorative something that they can use, year after year. So all of those things are still really good.
Wonderful.
So you found the perfect gift, and now you want to have the perfect presentation for that gift, perfect wrapping. But oftentimes that can be as equally expensive as the gift that you just bought. I mean, if you're, so what kind of tips do you have to help us wrap better?
Right, and that is so true, Jane, that we spend a lot of money on the gift and just as much, or at least a good fraction of it, on how we're going to package the gift. So, I always start at home. I have the holiday store at the house. Before I go anywhere out, I go check and see what's in my little stash at the house. So I usually collect, I'll be honest, those paper bags, some stores and ribbons and those little attachments. I start, like I said, at home, and then using fabrics. You're going to wrap a sweater, or you made a pair of socks or a shirt and tie, line the boxes with fabrics, use your comic strips, use greeting cards. I love reusing fabrics and scarves because you can add so much texture and color, so it makes things interesting. And then tying it with various ribbons or strings, if you would, definitely reusing things makes a big difference. And it's very easy on the wallet as well. If you're going to go out and purchase new items, be mindful of the type of wrapping paper you're purchasing. Those glitter ones look really fabulous, but they are not the most friendly on the environment because they may not be easily recyclable. So that's something to consider when you're going out there, to buy new wrapping paper. And I brought with me this morning, this is gift wrap paper that Pinellas County Solid Waste Utilities usually makes using recycled paper. So it's easy to, if you are able to find these at various county offices, to, put a couple items in there or use them to put packages in the mail and affix a mailing label on it.
I really like that design this year. It was really nice.
That is really nice. And I'm sure that it's probably a limited quantity that would be available, right?
Yes, definitely is. But if you can get your hands on some of them, it's awesome.
That's a great start, for people who may not have thought about, recycled paper. It is very, very nice. A lot of people are going to have company over for the holidays, and that in itself can cause some people some stress. Do you have some tips on how to have a little less stress during the holidays?
I like to start early. So if you plan early, you'll be able to get there where you want to be. So, especially when you have little ones in the family or you need to go out of town, you definitely need to plan early. And I like to stage things up if you're going out of town. So don't wait until the day before to start wrapping whatever you might need to take with you to get there. But, you start planning it, you wrap it, you decorate it with the kids if you have children and need to do that. But definitely using your technology that's available to you. There's so many apps that you can use to check your items off the list, create your recipe menu items, just that variety of things that you can use that are at your disposal, and definitely starting early. And I think above all, the message with holidays and entertaining is to really simplify. You don't need something that's really over the top, because the reality is what you're doing is spending quality time with your friends and family. And that's really your, at the top 10 list, that's number 10. Everything else is a step to get there at the top. So I would say simplifying for sure is one way to reduce your stress, starting early, and using the technology and tips that are available to you and getting everybody on board with you. So that way everybody has a little job, and it takes some of the stress off of you.
Great advice.
I think also, we've got such great places to go in Pinellas County that can be enjoyed by the entire family that are no cost. Some of our parks and preserves, even the Florida Botanical Gardens that has the Holiday Light Show happening right now, actually.
Yeah, they're putting up the lights in the gardens. I'm expecting another spectacular show. They've been using LEDs as the lighting options in the garden, so it's definitely energy efficient in a sustainable direction, and it really does bring in a crowd. It looks really beautiful when they start. I think it's right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and the decorations is something that we really haven't discussed yet, and there's certainly a lot of better environmental choices about decorating, isn't there?
There certainly are, like I said, using those LED lights when you're decorating your trees, definitely considering that. Whether you use a live tree or an artificial tree, that's another option for you as well. If you're going to use a live tree, make sure you check with your municipality for recycling, because it'll be turned into mulch. So you definitely want to make sure you know what days that they're going to pick up. Definitely crafting. A lot of people are DIY. It's a big thing, do-it-yourselfers, and involving little children or even older family members. It's funny how you sit down and you're preparing a wrapping and you're using fabric. Those decorative scissors, man, those make such beautiful edges on various things. So you can really get fancy or not too fancy, but you can certainly get everybody involved in crafting and making decorations. And of course, like you just mentioned, we have so many parks and preserves, bringing in a bit of nature inside. You collect pine cones. You can make lots of holiday decorations that might incorporate some bits of nature to add
Pine
a little
cones
bit
and
of
seashells. We got it covered.
Yeah, there's always a lot of great opportunity. I think we're fortunate to be in a county that does have so many nice amenities for folks to enjoy, and even just being able to walk in a park and kind of walk along the trails is a great de-stressor for people.
It is, and we're, coming from Colorado, part of me misses that cold, snowy weather for the holidays. But on the other side of the coin, it's really nice on Christmas to be out there in my shorts and my short sleeve tops and just enjoying everything, not being bundled up like the abominable snowman. And so kind of like that part.
And it does add that health and fitness component to your holidays, especially when it's so cold. Like you said, you bundle up and you're less inclined to get outside. But with the great sunshine and outdoors you have, you could do a quick stroll, after dinner.
Especially after all the food we eat.
Take the children with you, go for a bike ride.
Oh, yes. I got my bike down because the temperatures were supposed to be going down. So I had my bike out and ready to go.
Well, and I think, given the fact that it's the end of the year and many people might be thinking about New Year's resolutions, and so it's a good way to kind of get a jump start on getting fit for the holidays.
Definitely.
I did my New Year's resolution already, and that is to not gain any weight between now and the first of the year.
Okay, well, we'll be checking back, and we're going to make sure that you have stuck to your resolution.
I'm trying.
You've made it public now, so.
Hey, I think it's a good goal to have this time of year is don't overdo it. Enjoy little bits, get out and walk more, and just take care of yourself.
She brings up a really, really good point, which is part of sustainability and behavior change from a social marketing perspective is to make yourself accountable. So by publicly declaring or by writing it down in a pledge, there is that connection, about being able to follow through. And like Jane just mentioned, holding yourself accountable, whether it's through a person to person or the fact that you've written it down and pledged it for yourself to do.
So you hold me to, and we will check back in and see if I did well.
Okay. All right. I accept that challenge, but I'm not going to mention what my resolution is because I actually don't have any. But
you're just so perfect.
Yeah. Well, Anna Marie, do you have any other last-minute tips that you want to share with us as we kind of wrap up this year and move into the next year?
Just, staying safe and, monitoring your information, question when you are dealing with individuals, check out companies. But definitely, big part of my job is letting consumers know who consumer protection is. And feel free, it's a free resource through the county. We have tons of information to keep you safe and keep you knowledgeable of what you need to do, from, shopping tips to scams to everything. So feel free to give us a call and talk to an investigator or visit our website for more information.
And you also do presentations. So if an organization out there is listening and may want you to come to their homeowner association or whatever, you would make that opportunity available, right?
Definitely. And we do evenings, we do weekends. There's no maximum number that we need. It could be 5, it could be 50. But the important thing is to get out there and give them the information. I have a list of topics. I'll be happy to mail it to them or email it to them. They can pick the topics they want. I customize the presentations to fit their time needs and their topic requests.
Such a great service.
Yeah.
Really important. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And Ramona, any last tips that we want to share with folks about sustainability and...
Okay. Well, thank you, Jane. I think more than anything else with the holidays coming up is to remember to buy what you need and not necessarily what you want. It's very hard for us when we're, bombarded with so many messages from the consumer side of things, that we may purchase items that we may not need, or we may purchase items for friends or family that may not be practical and functional. So again, when you're gifting, thinking about that practicality and functionality, because you want somebody to love it for 365 days of the year. So that's definitely something to consider. And I think also we were talking about fitness is we are going to be consuming a lot of different things over the holidays, planning, preparing, going out. be mindful of the food waste component of, buy what you need, use it as you need it, go buy more if you need more, so certainly thinking about that from that planning perspective. And then lastly, I'll leave you with our websites. If you're looking for information about, ideas, stress reduction, like you said, Jane, Pinellas County Extension.org, all one word, or you could go to the University of Florida's Solutions for Your Life website. So you'll find lots more resources there on money management, credit card scams, like Anne-Marie mentioned, and stress reduction, gardening tips if you're looking for that and still thinking ahead into the spring.
Wonderful.
Thank
you
Jane.
both for such wonderful information today.
It's been a great show.
It sure has. I wish we had more time. I do want to thank our guest, Ramona Madhosingh-Hector, University of Florida's Extension Office in Pinellas, Marie Millett, Consumer Protection. Thanks so much for listening to us on WRXB 1590 AM and Pinellas County Connection TV. We look forward to having you join us next month. And remember, if you've missed any part of this show or would like to view past shows, check out the website or YouTube. I'm Jane Merlin.
And I'm Carmen Lemberg.
Thanks for tuning in. Make it a great day.